pleasure.
It's gonna be May. What's going on, people? Famous came here from LV1Gaming.com. Congratulations, you guys leveled up to 289. This is the LV1 Level 1 Gaming Podcast. I messed that up. First time saying it that way, right? For years, I've been saying it's the Double XP Podcast. It's so, I got to get used to saying this is the Level 1 Gaming Podcast, right? I got to get used to saying that. It is May 1st. Thank you guys for coming out and rocking with me. I see you guys in the chat already. Stone King, what's happening with you? Hope all is well with you. Stanley, what's going on, man? Glorious Kev, I see you in the chat, brother. He live for the Hugcast. I respect it in all shapes and fashions. Let's get going with the introduction. We got a lot to talk about tonight, right? Fallout, Starfield, maybe the 30 frames per second wasn't an artistic thing because we getting 60 FPS. Xbox Showcase is around the corner. How many of these games are going to be on PlayStation? So much stuff to talk about. But first, the introductions. My right hand, man, the floor hugger with the hardest of hearts. What's going on, sis?
What's going on, y'all? I'm glad to be back talking about gaming and all that. And I just want to remind you guys I am Canadian because earlier today I heard my neighbor outside with their bagpipes practicing. And you can't get more Canadian than that at like 3 or at 11 in the morning. So have a great day. Let's talk about some games and you get into it.
This shorts feed is up and running. Frizzle, I see you over there in the shorts feed. What's happening with you? I ain't forgot about your shorts feed is up and popping. Next up, if your emails are popping and your DMs are full, that's because communication director level 1 trying to get a hold of you, baby. BanJ67, what's going on, Chief?
Man, I just want to give quick thanks to all of our members. I want to give a thanks to Dallas Man, Geek Life Mike, Master Sith, Talzuchi, Emmanuel A1, Raiden Blade, Adidas 20, TSWS Gaming, Donald Taku, Lord Metroid, J0387, Strolly, Johnny Man 117, Legendary Yobi, Miss L, and Bordy Mick.
That's love. Listen, that's one of the best ways you can support the channel, support the content, and all the stuff we're doing. Because we got, Baron got some dope stuff coming down in LA. We got packs coming. So much stuff coming up, man. That's the best way you can support the channel is by becoming a channel member. And of course, like Bordy's doing in the chat, if you want to pop out them polygon chi-chis, or if you want to go red eyes, hug a dragon, there's some cool things you can do in the chat. But next up, one of the hardest working women in the biz. Y'all know from Dangs for Game, Freedom Games. Des, what's going on, sis?
Hey guys, I'm tired, but good to be here. Sorry, I'm working right now, which is why I'm not on camera.
Work.
Yeah, I have to book flights, so that's what I'm doing right now. But I'm here.
Baller.
Don't forget about my flight. I need first class. Window
Where? Home?
Bunions out and everything.
Wherever we go, I need first class window seats. And I
have to give you that economy for the sticker that you made for me.
No, strap fame on the outside of the plane.
What you mean? Yeah. What are you talking
Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
What are you talking? Oh, you talking about the buck? Yeah, shout out to you, boy.
Yeah, chicken head.
I'm sorry. now wait a minute. That was
so disrespectful.
Oh, listen, when we created these emails, I told y'all, if y'all send me a profile picture, I'm going to make it funny. Fair warning.
You should have sent it to him earlier.
I did not call you that. Incident. You're not being called that.
You did. You started off with the song. All black people know that that's what comes next. Don't play.
How you know it's even black people in the chat? We don't know. No
you
one
know.
That's different. It's called an inside joke.
No,
no one knew.
They all know. They all know. They know. I still got you a flight. It's just economy. Don't be upset.
That's fine. I need that drink package though.
I'll see what I can do.
All right. Last but not least, the owner of Second Opinion Pro, my Texas brotherine, who I have not seen in a long time. I can't wait to get back to rock with my boy Solar. I almost said your government. What's going on, brother?
Everything's good, man. Everything's good. Just still doing my thing, reviewing, writing, podcasting as much as I can, and the biggest job of them all is, playing that really big game, one of the largest RPGs I've ever taken a part of, which is Fatherhood.
Man,
that's the rough one,
bro.
That's like level 999.
I got two gremlins in here now. I got one right there and one.
Don't call them kids gremlins.
Hey, listen, I had to put a big sign on my office door. It was like, recording. Do not come in. Most of the times when we do the podcast, we'll do the Second Opinion podcast in the middle of it, and my daughter will walk in and be like, "Hey, did you see the drawing that I did from school today?" I'm like,
"Bro,
maybe we're recording right now." But yeah, man,
I don't care. Did you see my drawing?
Right? She's like, I don't care. They're gonna listen to what's going on and everything. So I'm very excited to be here. Fame, we've known each other for quite some time. And Floor Hugger, we've met before as well, but I'm glad to meet both of you as well, and all the listeners and viewers. Get ready for a show you will never forget.
Amen.
Listen, for those wondering, yes, there are 2 streams up and running. One is the regular stream, one is the shorts feed. The reason why there's 2 is because even after the fact, if you do one vertical, it runs through the shorts feed after the fact, right? And we're trying to capitalize on the shorts feed. So feel free to jump back to either one. But I found out something that we can do. I think it's pretty cool, so I'm gonna do that right now. I'm gonna give 5 people
Raw versus SmackDown.
Yeah.
OG stream is Raw. You're SmackDown.
I just gifted 5 memberships for the month. You guys
you figured it out?
Yeah, I figured it out. I was able to give 5, so I just get the 5 people. Look like Skycrow, Arcade, the Black John, and Chris Coleman just got the 5 memberships I just gifted out. So you guys feel free to go in there in the emotes. Check out the content that's involved with the exclusive content involved with our memberships. And again, if you want to continue to support the stream, continue to become a channel member after the fact. But in the meantime, enjoy those emotes. Listen, I want to jump right into it. I want to get into Starfield. Starfield, quote unquote, game of the generation. Quote unquote, the Xbox save. It was deemed a lot of things. It came out and it wasn't. It's not a bad game. Let me make that clear. It's not a bad game. It didn't meet a lot of people's expectations. A lot of that had to be where they felt like it was undercooked and underbaked with missing certain features. One in particular being 60 frames per second. We heard so many things about it being, listen, I gotta stop. Stone King with the 5 gifted memberships. Thank you, my boy. That's love. That's love right there. I appreciate that. With the hugger dab. Thank you, Stone King, with the 5 gifted memberships, bro. It helps us out a whole bunch. It helps support the stream. We really appreciate that. Much love to you, brother. But Starfield, one of the most things people talk about the most is it didn't have 60 frames per second. And I think I know what's happening with me for a second. I'm so sorry. I know what's going on. Why I might be skipping to y'all. And then that should be fixed right now. On my stream, I'm going like really goofy.
I was gonna say you look fine, bro.
Yeah, you look fine. Yeah.
Okay, I'm good now. So one of the big updates that we are getting is Starfield at 60 frames per second. That for a lot of people, including myself, that is one of the most notable things that we're getting from this. But that isn't all. Of course, we're going to get some difficulty options that are being changed. Some different things that you want to mix up. So if you want to make the actual gameplay harder, but the ship gameplay easy, you can mix that up how you see fit. Of course, they're saying surprises. That could mean anything. We're getting new gameplay, new shipbuilding features, which I'm not big on the shipbuilding stuff. Like I go in there, give them the strong stuff, and I go about my business. Some people making some crazy stuff. Much respect to y'all. Not really my thing. City maps. To me, next to 60 frames per second, that's one of the most important updates this game needed, right? Because who knew the hell? If you knew where you were going in Starfield, you're lying. So many times I'm like, I have no idea where I'm going. So I'm just all over the place, right? So city maps are super important. And then again, at 60 frames per second, there's some other things going. But I want to start with the chat, and I want to start with, I guess, Solop, your thoughts on Starfield. Did you enjoy Starfield? Are you looking forward to this update? Because we're going to get this update prior to the DLC being released, which I have a very interesting point about that after I get your opinion.
Okay, so I actually had a little bit of a different feel with Starfield than what most people did. Not in just the perspective of being somebody that's a big Bethesda fan or somebody that has always coveted the work that Bethesda, id Software, and most of their studios do. I loved Starfield right out the bat. The reason I did is because years ago, when they really started pushing the whole 60 frames per second, 120 frames per second, all this other stuff, I had a constant battle with myself. Like, I went out and I got the biggest TV that could do the biggest frames and all this other stuff. And I found myself at a point to where I was like, bro, this shit, like, I can't even use it. I can't even enjoy most of these games at 60 frames per second. So why am I even worrying about that? So I kind of had to retrain my mind on getting back used to games that are 30 frames per second and more focusing on what the core of these games were really about. And one thing that stood out for me for Starfield was something that is special about Bethesda as a game studio is exploration. That's one of the biggest things that Bethesda has always been known for. And there were so many negative comments online of saying, oh, well, you go to these planets and they're just completely barren. They're empty. They're this or that. I got the game 3 weeks early. So I put in a lot of time into this game. So I when I say I put in a ton of time, like, I'm talking about like completely disassociating myself with my children, my wife. I don't even think in those 3 weeks I did any type of content creation, podcasting, anything like that. I was like, I got to really focus in on this. I want to make sure that I get every ounce that I can out of this game. And I'm telling you, still to this day, I will say that I do not think it was as bad as a launch as most people kind of led to believe. I do feel that things that I even left out from what Fame brought up that I didn't even think of while playing the game was, the map feature. It's not that it just, I was engrossed in a different way. So now that I think about it, I'm like, damn, of course, if they had a more updated map feature, it would have been a greater, even more great experience than what I had. But this is a good thing, but I feel like most of what they are doing with this is appeasement. It's like more of an appeasement update. Like, the map, the surface map update is a great thing because of what it can do. Now, the fact that you can literally, zoom into the surface and see what's actually on there instead of having to go down to the planet and walk for 7 hours to be like, oh, okay, there was a gun.
And land vehicles are coming now too. That's a big update that's coming. Yeah. It won't come on May 15th, but it's part of the future updates. We're finally getting land vehicles.
And that's something that they needed as well as at launch. And I'll say I did leave that out of my review. But what I will say that I still stick to 100% true to what my review stated is that Starfield is a game that gives players the chance to write their own story for their characters. So yes, you have the opportunity of doing all these side missions and doing this stuff, but the way I felt about it is I was able to really create my character with a lot of different traits, and instead of just going on a somewhat of a rail that even some of their other games have done, like with Skyrim and with Fallout. Though it was an open world, those games were open world. They still somewhat felt like they were kind of pushing you, like, "Hey, go this way." Starfield was, and it might have been a flaw. It might have been something they didn't mean to do, but Starfield was like, "Hey, fuck it. Here's a ship. You'll go do what you need to do." So, you just and I don't know if I can curse or not. I do apologize.
No, you go back.
But I feel like that's the reason I enjoyed Starfield so much, is that when I did want to engross myself into side quests and stories, and so on and so forth. I really enjoyed my time. But whenever I didn't want to do that and I just wanted to just say, F it, I'm just going to go explore as much as I can and see how expansive this game is. I got that, I got that enjoyment from that game. So not to go on to a big, soapbox there, but I'm a big Starfield defender. So I think there was way too much unnecessary hate for the game whenever it first came out. I think if anything, there was a lot of content creators out there that were just pushing for clout on a lot of stuff of saying that the planets are empty. There's this, there's that. This is supposed to be Xbox big exclusive, which I'll still say is a stupid thing to say, especially since originally Bethesda planned on it being a AAA game on multiple different consoles. But this is a great update that is going to solidify what I said in my review, that it is one of the greatest games in a generation for Bethesda. And with the upcoming DLC, with the fact that you can do 30 to 40 to 60 to uncapped frame rates with VRR displays, the fact that you can have the different map updates, ground vehicles, all this other stuff, bro. I mean, come on, like you have a lot to do in this game, and there's no possible way that you're not going to be able to have stuff to do until Fallout or the next Elder Scrolls comes out if you're a Bethesda fan. So anybody that's an Xbox user, if you haven't played this game, you've still been on the fence, now is honestly the time to play it. When this update comes out, power up that Xbox and get ready to sit down for quite some time, because at least you have a better way of traveling than what we did. We don't have to walk around with a companion following us for 17 hours. So,
well, interestingly enough, it's mentioned that this update, the 60 FPS part at least, is for the Xbox Series X. So it looks like that might be a distinction. Like if you have the S, you might be stuck at 30 FPS. But B, I'm gonna swing over to you. First off, did you finish Starfield? Because I personally got burnt out on Starfield because I did everything that you could do in this game except the main campaign, because I was so enamored in the world itself and I was all over the place. And so this update will bring me back to the game, but I want to know your thoughts. Will this update bring you back to Starfield if you stop playing it?
You know what? I stopped playing it. Funny enough, I was the one who reviewed it for Level 1. And I ended up putting, at the time of the review, because I'm looking at it now, 4 days, 23 hours, and 38 minutes.
Wow.
And I didn't finish the main campaign. That
somebody's gonna be mad about that. you know how the people are. What you mean you got 4 days worth of time? You didn't roll credits? Oh, angry. Oh, I'm so mad.
What kind of reviewer are you?
What kind of reviewer are you?
Look, let me tell you guys this. You go ahead and because I think total now I have 6 days in the game. You go play 6 days in a game and tell me whether or not you enjoy it, or like you didn't enjoy it, or you didn't get a lot out of it, or you didn't get enough out of it to discuss. Like, come on, come on, bro. Stop. 6 days? 6 days?
Get spicy, B. Get spicy.
And you don't think I can talk about it? Not 6 days playing it. 6 days game time. Get out of here. Go somewhere, bro. But, long story short, funny enough, my cons are all being addressed, except the facial animations, are being addressed in this update. Not always clear what to do, which more or less was about the map, because the map, it was a very difficult thing to get around, to the point that I still have bookmarked the New Atlantis Starfield map genie.
It's crazy.
I still have the companion tab that I would keep open. Like, where the hell was that one store that I needed to go? Boop, and I'd go there to that marker. But and then the inventory management. That was literally my 3 cons, was the not always clear what to do, facial animations were dated as hell, and the inventory management was difficult. And these, outside of the facial animations, these are the things that are being addressed in the update. I ended up giving it a 9. I thought it was an amazing experience. you're talking to a guy who loved No Man's Sky from day one.
Mm-hmm.
I know when
don't you dare bring up that game.
Oh, bro, I got the collector's edition for PlayStation 4. Like, bro, let me tell you this. When I think of a true space game, I imagine vastness. I imagine emptiness. I imagine like that's what space is. I mean, hell, look at our solar system. Like come on. Like you literally have one planet out of 9, depending on who you're talking to. Like that has active life and civilization on it. So what more are you expecting? I mean, hell, I played Starbound. Like for that's a deep cut.
Oh yeah.
I love space games. Like that's my thing, and I understand that a true space game is gonna have some vast and emptiness. And that was my title: the blending of fantasy and the beautiful emptiness of space. That is the embodiment of Starfield. Now, I think that Starfield is going to get a long burn, like Skyrim. I think we're going to be looking at Starfield for the next 10 years, and you're going to randomly get a this, randomly get a that, and I think this is going to have some longevity to it. And I would not be surprised if we get an announcement that this bad boy ends up on other consoles.
That was the point I was going to ask you before I went to Hugger. You talk about getting a long burn. Does that long burn include the PlayStation 5?
Yeah, I believe so. I really do. And funny enough, you're going to see the PlayStation 5 version of this game, which is going to have all these updates, get a higher score than what it got. Initially,
like Sea of Thieves?
A higher Metacritic. Yeah, it's going to have the Sea of Thieves effect. It's going to be a very real thing. But if that's what's going to take for Starfield to continue to get the support and to see a life cycle similar to Skyrim, not necessarily Skyrim level, but in terms of 10 years out, you're still seeing updates, you're still seeing changes, you're still seeing advancements and enhancements outside of the community, but actually from the devs, 100%. But yeah, the vastness of space, man. They really gave that to you, like here. This is space.
Wholeheartedly, bro. That's honestly the best way. I don't mean to jump in, but that's the best way to say it, because there's so many times that you will travel to different sections of the galaxy or solar system or whatever, and whenever you get there, you're like, what's happening here? And there's nothing outside of like one ship, and then you're like, okay, well, there's nothing. You go to the next section and there's a million pirates that are about to explode your ship, So that I think that's where you and me are vibing on that, is like the possibilities are always, it's a hit and miss possibility. So you're traveling from one whole section of the galaxy to another, and you're like, oh, well, I didn't really see anything. And you can go to the next one and find a lonely grandma in a spaceship. Bro. I don't know if
she invites you on. No, tell me what was the dopest thing to me was hitting that random star system or that random planet or area of space and running into the dude doing sea shanty.
Yes, bro. I was like, what is happening right now? Where's that coming from?
That was the coolest thing ever.
No,
and I was like,
it was
this
awesome.
Bro, I was like, this is what I imagine spacefaring humans to.
Right. Now, when I ran into that grandma, I did have one of those Red Dead Redemption 2 moments to where like my judgment kind of split, and I was like, should I kill this lady?
She got a nice ship.
Got a nice ship. And then I was like, nah, she fed me. I guess I'll leave her alone.
There's a reason why grandma has a nice ship. Think about it. She's not as naive as she looks.
Exactly.
But man, I just like, I think I got to like midway of the main story because I was like, let me just go. Because then I realized, put it this way, I was more than a day in, about a day in, when I finally started the missions and they formally explained how to dock. Because you guys got what people need to know if you haven't played Starfield.
Yeah.
They don't tell you how to dock until you go through the story mission.
Yeah.
And so, but you don't have to start the story mission.
No.
You literally, once you beat the start, the intro, you can literally go and do whatever you want. And I did.
Yeah.
I took that to heart.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I like all seriousness, like the beauty of the vastness of space. You're talking to a space junkie. Hugger, what did you think? What do you think about all these updates and what does this mean? Are they, is this showing that there is a planned longevity for Starfield?
Oh yeah, 100%. Because let's look at the magnum opus of space games, Eve. It took as long as it has for Eve to be what it is. So the fact that they're willing to support it, and if it's boring for you, I get that. See through it. If you can't, The Outer Worlds, another great game, very linear, still
Yes.
space exploration. If you just want like go to mission, go to mission. But Starfield, I don't say this. I don't say this nicely about a Bethesda game, because usually I say, oh God, they're an experience. Like, who, if you really want to. But I think Starfield does have the potential to be an experience. Now, will it rival Star Citizen or something like that? No, but I think Bethesda is carving its own space to be a spacey title, because the fact that we are kind of shitting on them right now, why aren't we letting this company that wants to try something new breathe and explore just a little bit?
Yep.
Do we really
Yep.
want them to make Elder Scrolls and Fallout until we are in a nuclear fallout? Is that what we want?
Yes, that wouldn't be bad. I wouldn't be completely bothered by that, but continue.
But they need to explore, otherwise, I mean, look at BioWare. Struggling. And they made some of games of our childhood.
Yeah.
So let them explore, let them flop if they flop, truly. And the fact that they're still here and still trying, we should embrace that, because we know these companies today abandon games a year and a half after they've been birthed. So let us enjoy this, because it's Bethesda. Please let us enjoy this.
Facts.
Exactly.
Oh,
Des, what about you? What do you think?
Oh, sorry, I don't really have an opinion. I didn't play the game.
Okay, well, moving on from that.
Yeah, sorry.
No, hey,
I love you.
I'm sitting there trying to like help out with segues and
the big pivot. Okay, well, keep it in line with Xbox, because obviously that's the main topic of today. So we have the Xbox Game Showcase. Now, an angle that I want to attack this from is Sarah Bond had a tweet.
Mm-hmm.
She quote tweeted the information about the upcoming Xbox Showcase. Now, the part that stood out to me was the hearts that she had on said tweet. Now, on said tweet, she had a green heart and a blue heart. Now, historically, when we see Xbox figureheads tweeting hearts, they're usually green, which is supposed to signify, the Xbox community, Xbox love. Now, when we think blue, that is usually associated with PlayStation. Now, we know that Xbox owns Activision Blizzard, or Microsoft owns Activision Blizzard. Blue Heart is for Sega. Ooh, I didn't even think of that. That would be a funny twist. But going along the messy lines of it being Sony.
You like to be messy. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very messy. Which, let's be real, Xbox has to consistently acknowledge PlayStation for the simple fact that they own Call of Duty. Like, we could go through all the other games. Call of Duty is a huge part of gaming for every console. So to have a big presentation that's most likely going to have some Call of Duty news, you have to have some acknowledgement. So let's talk about this. How much of PlayStation is going to be, how much of this showcase is going to mention PlayStation? How much is PlayStation going to be involved? Want to swing over to you, Celeb, my bad. I always want to call you something. Just respect.
Let me say this. I really don't think there's going to be much PlayStation coming from a former former PlayStation fanboy, as you can see in the background. I love PlayStation. They were my home console, but when Xbox Game Pass came out and really started hitting it hard, I was like, PlayStation, what the fuck are you doing? I will tell you this. I think that this Xbox press conference showcase is going to be mainly focused around just a couple of small things. And I say that in the lightest terms. I think the main focus on this showcase is going to be the redacted section. It's not during the main Xbox showcase. They're going to showcase some stuff. We're going to hear about Indiana Jones. We're going to hear about some of these smaller indie titles that they're going to be really focusing on over these next few months. But I would be shocked to see really big stuff shown off during the Xbox showcase, followed by this Call of Duty redacted direct. The reason why is because if you don't remember, it's just kind of like last year with the Starfield showcase. When Starfield showcase came out, the Xbox game showcase showed off, and it showed off stuff like there were some real cool announcements and stuff. But the biggest thing is too that we also have to put into play that Sarah Bond has said before. This next Xbox console is supposed to be the most powerful generational jump that Xbox and gaming has ever seen. So if we are shown off stuff, do not get overexcited and think we're getting this shit this year. Because I would honestly say that there might be a couple of surprises for some somewhat semi-big indie titles to be coming this year from the showcase. But I think a lot of the stuff, if there is surprises that we're going to see, it is going to be for the next in between Xbox Series X and the next generation of consoles. Because I think it's going to be coming a lot quicker than what we think it's going to be coming out. Really, if you think about it, COVID in general effed this entire console generation. So, as all of us being, I'm guessing all of us are, in our 30s, somewhere around there.
No, we're all in our 30s.
Yeah. So we all know, just saying, we all know in that perspective that these consoles that we have dealt with before that have come out previously, these console generations, we didn't just see like a great console launch. We saw massive game releases. We saw massive showcases around them. We saw tons of sales for not just we're not going to do the whole PlayStation sold more, we sold more. Just in general, the fan bases grew so tremendously from PlayStation 2 to Xbox, and then from PlayStation 3 to Xbox 360, Nintendo Wii, 3DS, all this other stuff. So when PS5 and Xbox Series X came out, their sales went to shit. And the only main stage console that was something that was still really hitting was the Nintendo Switch, and PC gaming. The sales for these consoles did not perform the way they needed to. The components for these consoles were not available the way they were supposed to be. So they're cool consoles. They're great, but I have to say, I feel that we kind of had, the cover pulled over our eyes in the perspective of these being the best consoles we've ever seen, because I feel the next consoles that we are going to see is my children just walked in. I knew it. The sign was not going to work.
Bro, all good.
So the biggest thing is that you have a shirt on, right, son? Okay. The biggest thing is we have to understand that most of these consoles that are coming out are going to be the main stage consoles for games like Fable, for the next generation of Gears, and much more. So I'm going to hand it off to y'all so I can talk to these kids.
No. And that's actually a good point and a good segue into what I want to ask you, Hugs. What do you think are we gonna get an update on games that that were previewed to us in the past? I'm thinking the Compulsion Games title. What was it? I can't believe I'm blanking on it, with the black man on in the bayou playing the guitar.
The southern one.
Yeah, I can't believe I'm
Somebody's
blanking
got
on
this
that
for
name.
us.
Yeah, Compulsion Games, please. Somebody let me
I
know
want
in
to
the
play
chat.
that.
But do you think it's possible that we'll see a State of Decay 3 up? Do you think, how deep are they? Are we gonna get any deep dives? It's sad that I can call these titles like crate digging titles, because they showed us previews, or whether it was CGI trailer or whatnot, or even just a name, but then they just completely fell off. So what do you think? Are we gonna get any reprisals of old announced titles, Hugger?
I mean, it's possible, because I fully, for the life of me, believe Bayonetta 3 was a figment of my imagination and nobody else knew about it, and then it came out.
I still think Hellblade 2 is fake.
No, I think Metroid Prime 4 is fake. Completely. Gone. Poof to the wind. I don't know that we might see anything like super big, because I was thinking, oh, maybe it would be time to see the next Wolfenstein game or something like that. But that would be like a Summer Games Fest or something big. Just drop it there and be like, it's yours.
Just to add in, Machine Games, the Machine Games is working on the Indiana Jones, but from my understanding, there's another Bethesda studio that's working on something. So, just
like, they could really. It's Xbox too. When they also say the future of gaming, they mean the future of everything, because their gaming tech goes into their PCs. Like, it's 1-to-1. So Xbox, they're doing some money moves now that we may not like, but it's business moves, as Des likes to say, and it doesn't matter if it's morally correct. It's business correct. So I don't know what we're gonna see and what the future of Xbox is, but they're moving interestingly now.
Okay, so knowing that we're getting redacted, which when I think redacted, I always think government, I always think military, I think CIA, and I automatically think Call of Duty. So having a strong gut feeling that we're getting the Call of showcase, the follow-up showcase to the Xbox showcase is about.
Yeah, Samara, please.
Oh, you're not mute. There you go. I got all good. I just wanted to let you know. Safe to assume that it's going to be Call of Duty. Des, what are we going to get? Big reveal?
Not to cut you off.
Oh,
who made the original SOCOM games? Was it Activision? I know they were Sony games too.
Was it Activision?
I don't think it was Activision, because I know the Army was a part of it. Does anybody know?
Oh no! Oh Lord!
Zipper Interactive.
And who owns Zipper Interactive? Oh God, they're probably.
I just feel like that could be, if it's not Call of Duty, another military themed thing. Oh, we got 2 super chats we missed, B.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't know I missed super chats.
Girl, I didn't even.
Super chat from Jay Rembert. Since Xbox confirmed they were having FanFest, we'll be pissed off if Xbox fans show up because of all the porting. Jez confirmed again that more games are going to PlayStation. Now, Jay, shout out to Jez Corden, friend of the show. I will say this. The parent company of Xbox is literally globally known for putting their software any and everywhere it can function. why wouldn't that DNA make its way into Xbox? I know a couple years ago you wouldn't have been able to get me to say that openly because it didn't fit the gaming world that we knew. But after in the world we live in now, where one of the competitors owns one of the biggest games in the console space, like there is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Call of Duty is always one of the biggest games. It's always an October top seller. It's always in the top 20. It is that game, especially within the console space. And now one of the main competitors owns it. The world is different. We live in a different world. So I did, and then with the success, even if it was just front loaded success just to get the skin from Sea of Thieves fans, like even if that was the only thing, they still see it as Xbox Microsoft game was a top selling game, a top pre-ordered game on a competitor console, that being PlayStation 5. So knowing all of that,
PlayStation played a lot of poor me when they were doing a lot of these deals. So that's why we're looking at them like you're weak now, because they played poor me.
Oh yeah, they did do that. And now they're going to be getting all these games. They're going to be getting out. That's actually a good question. Des, if you're available, I don't want to like throw you on the spot.
No,
but
I'm here.
Going off of Jay's super chat, and much love, Jay. Really appreciate you. What current game do you imagine going to PlayStation if Jazz's news reporting is correct?
Oh man.
What's the next titles?
Maybe some Final Fantasy titles?
Well, from Xbox to PlayStation.
Oh, from Xbox to PlayStation. Sorry.
Yeah. I just my bad.
Around.
I wanted to. No. From Xbox to PlayStation. And then Cal, I'll get to your super chat in a second.
I'm sorry. You know what?
No.
Why
I didn't mean to throw you on the spot.
Because
no, I'm so sorry.
Like, I don't really play on Xbox, guys. Like,
well,
I'm a PC gamer, so like, I don't really pay attention to like what big exclusives are being released on Xbox versus what's being played on PlayStation. Even though, like, I have the consoles, if I can get it on Xbox Pass, then I'm just gonna play it on PC for the
PC Game Pass.
Yeah.
That's fair. Well, you know what's funny? Let's be real. Most of the exclusives that most people are thinking of in terms of Xbox are going to be legacy titles that I know you have some history in. So we're talking, in my head, when I think legacy Xbox and current exclusives, you got your Forza,
Halo,
you got your Gears, you got your Halos. Like, these are the only games that I can think of. And then somebody in the chat mentioned Redfall, which
I do wonder if they're going to push bigger games or like start off small with like some of their smaller titles. I think that would probably be the smartest move, to start out small and then get big and kind of like work up that momentum.
Like ReCore?
Yeah. You know? Because I honestly think like this is them testing out what's going to happen, right? So why do that with like a really big title? Because they have a ton of like third party and stuff like that they could port over, and usually that's what you see when you have like historically when games have started to go cross platform. It was smaller games as they were testing it out, and then you got like these big ass games that were coming to like all of the platforms. You know what I mean? So I think that would be the smart thing to do. Because honestly, if it's a big game and they port it over and it plays like shit, that's going to hurt them more than a smaller game being ported over and not doing as well.
But what if it plays better?
Well, they won't know that until they get a lot of people playing it, and that's the problem. True. You never have enough people with QA. True. Your biggest stressor is when you release it to the public.
Sure.
100%. And you also have to remember too, when you think about the Xbox company umbrella. Okay, so they are a company that has engulfed so many studios, it's hard for people to think about. So when people think about Xbox exclusives coming to PlayStation, the first thing they think is, oh my God, they're bringing Halo, they're bringing Gears, or they're bringing this. You're not thinking, you got to pause yourself and really stop and think about the studios that are now considered Xbox exclusive studios. You have Xbox Game Studios, which are a massive amount of game studios. Then you have Bethesda, who has the umbrella themselves of Arcane, id Software, Tango, ZeniMax, Machine Games, and then you have, you can't even really get into it, but then you have Activision, and Activision has so many studios under their umbrella. It is insane. And then you have Blizzard and King Games, which King Games in general are it's one of the biggest mobile studios out there. So you have Candy Crush and all this other stuff, and they're a gigantic mobile platform. So it could be a slew of anything. It could be Candy Crush for the PS5. It could
Age
be
of Empires.
Age of Empires.
I didn't even.
Yeah.
Age of Empires going to PlayStation. I could see that. That
High
would be a
Moon,
quick,
listen,
easy.
and High Moon Studios is owned by Activision. High Moon Studios has also always been known for their involvement with Activision, creating anything that has to do with Transformer titles. So anything that High Moon comes out with, it could bring out. Now, it was announced recently that Toys for Bob did decide to disembark from Activision.